This is fourth podcast, and last but not least, we have with us uh, a person that I very admire. I know you from before, Damir. So I'm very happy to have you on this podcast. Because I know that you have lots of experience, lots of knowledge, but small thing uh, we come to discover afterwards what it is. So, can you introduce yourself just for starters?
Of course I can. My name is Damir Cvetojevic, living in Norway for 23 years, coming from Croatia. Working here, living here, studying here, having half part of my life here. So yeah, I started working as a photographer and videographer, moving to the media. Now work in a big corporation within the marketing, branding. Yeah, communications. That's expertise.
Yes, and you are very experienced in yeah, your work as a communication officer and whatnot for corporations. But you are new in international cooperations with funds, projects. Uh, so I want to draw the line between your experience, motivation, and what you want to do in the future. So you started the integration training center. Can you tell us something about what it is?
Of
What's the integration training center?
Yeah, of course. I mean, when I was a child in Balkans after the war, there were many NGOs, and um, and being a young kid, not really understanding how the world function, this was really interesting for me. But then again, the path that moves you here and there, and you have to start living, and somehow you ended up in the big companies, and then traveling around the world on different projects, talking with the different cultures on daily basis, you realize that there's one same problem everywhere, and that's integration. And today you're home, tomorrow you are a foreigner. And and then more and more I talked about it, I realized there's more and more problems everywhere, regardless of your education, regardless of your background. We are moving today a lot. We are both because maybe we have to or we want to. And then I started thinking, is there anything I can do to help all those people, to maybe share my experiences that I had for many years? And what's the best way? I mean, when you talk about corporations, they're only focused about the profit, even though good integration is really important for profit. But this is like long-term thinking, the same as branding, like how you sell your product. Do you want to put ad or do you want to have a long-term branding? So the same with integration. This is like long-term investment into the companies, which usually they cannot forecast that much of that kind of investment. And then I was thinking, okay, how to start, where to move, where to go. So traveling on the Balkans quite often, I realized a huge number of foreigner workers coming to the Balkans in the last few years. As but for example, in Croatia, a few years back, 50,000 licenses or work permits last year over 200,000. Then I went to Bosnia, the same, Serbia, the same. So talking to people, I found a couple of colleagues or friends, and when I shared my ideas, they really liked it, and we put ourselves together and we said, okay, let's start with the establishing an NGO, and let's try to help companies, not necessarily one individual. Of course, at the end of the day, you're helping many individuals, but I think that effect can be much bigger and better if you work with the companies that also have a bigger budgets and they have understanding that there's maybe need for change, and also really high number of turnover, because more people leave the company, that's more expense for them. And then I thought, okay, how now combine corporation experience with my personal experience and put together and do something that at the end of the day, it will really help many individuals as a consequence of maybe a company wanting to save some money or whatever. So that's sort of, let's, as I said, like long story short, that's how I came to that idea. I travel a lot still. I talk to many people, and everybody tells me this is the really right timing. And it seems there's not such a company or NGOs, at least that I'm aware of. And I did pretty good research. And that's why actually gives me even more energy and enthusiasm and motivation to really do that. So
So, your and focus of your colleagues would be on Balkan first of all, or you're everywhere? You can expand.
I mean, it's the funny thing with this is it's really easy to be expanded. And originally, I wanted to do only in the Balkans at the beginning, but now since I live in Norway and I talk to many companies and people and friends, it seems that even though Norway is such a developed country or country that invested so much money into the integration, still had the same problem. Of course, maybe the different for example, in Norway, it's a really big problem with sick leave because you get paid 100% from the state to be on sick leave for a year, where in other countries people change jobs. But as a result, it's bad productivity, people are unhappy, people are stressed, etc. So yeah, I mean the main focus is on the Balkans still because I have 4 people there. Now we are 5 hardcore working. 2 of us are actually, I can even say almost 100% working into that, and the others are a little bit less. So I'm actually now covering Norway as well, and the Serbia, Croatia, and Bosnia. We do have some indications about Montenegro as well, but at the moment we're gonna put that aside because we just started a few months ago, or actually we were registered in October. And it takes you time to prepare material, the concept, the web page, etc. So yeah, we have to, even though it's easy, it's really easy to scale the concept, but we are now focusing on only 4 countries, if it's that only.
Wonderful, Damir. I think right now you're justifying a reason why I'm called you in this podcast because of your knowledge and your passion. I can hear in every of your words that you are passionate to do this job, even if you have a good life in Norway and settled everything you need, but still want to help. And I really think that is tremendous, magnificent to what you say. But you have lots of experience in international collaborations, even though those are corporative. But uh, I asked this question to every one of you today. What do you think? How is to collaborate in an international level? Think about cultural differences, ethnic, yeah, traditionally.
I mean, you have to do your research. I mean, you have to know who you're talking to. So I think that's the minimum that you can do. It's if you are dealing with a country that you are not really aware of. Luckily today with the Google and everything else, you can easily find out at least the minimum. I mean, that's the first stuff. You cannot go somewhere and try to sell something or promote something if you don't know what this country has a problem with or what it's interested in, etc. So I think that's preparation. The first thing you have to prepare, and then, of course, communication, dialogue, set the clear expectations on the both sides, what you expect, what they expect, and double check along the road, is it really the way it is? And of course, if things happen wrongly, you shouldn't be irritated or whatever. It's just to be aware that cultural differences can really change the project along the road, and that's okay. And that's okay, because what we see as important, maybe it's not necessarily important there. Or what I see that it's quality, it's not necessarily quality there, etc. So you always have to be open and don't judge people, of course. try to, as I always say, like look at yourself and respect the others. How you should do it. Yeah.
Good. When you think about future, how is your perspective? What do you see? Is it bright, or think about funds and NGOs and projects, international collaboration, and what is your? Maybe you have some information we don't.
I mean, we shouldn't look. I think what's happening right now, of course, with Trump and all these kind of changes and things like that, we shouldn't be looking short term. We should look long term. It's the same, maybe like investment. You're never gonna get rich if you're gonna invest something now. The same with education. You cannot learn something now and be an expert within the 10 days. So the same with funds, the same with projects, with everything. You have to set the goal, make a clear goal, be realistic, and look into that. And the rest is just the path. It might be a little bit straight, a little bit curvy, but you'll reach the goal. So as I always said, every time I go to when I have a new task or a new project or something, regardless of the company, regardless of the position of this person I talk to, always ask, what do you want? Ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want to achieve? And the rest is just formalities. If today it's a debt fund, tomorrow it's another fund, So don't think about short term. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think it's very good answer, and it's at the same time it's answering on one of my next questions about some advice to young people who want to work with us, but you just answered on that.
I can add a little bit more, just one sentence. I think it's important. Whatever you do that you love doing it, That's the only way to success, because this is really tough. Everything is tough. I mean, there's a lot of hiccups, a lot of difficult periods, days, bad answers or whatever. And if you look for some other wrong goal, you're never going to succeed. So, as I said, ask yourself, what do you want? Do something you love, and you will see the result will come.
Very good. You are, as I said, marketing / communication officer. So what do you think about having podcast as one of the evaluation tools for the projects, as we do now? Because this podcast is part of project we are finishing today, and it comes like last activity in the project. So what do you think about that? Can podcast be something good to have in every project in the future? To share the word, to share knowledge, to share experiences. What do you think?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the as I always said, like, who is your target group? Like, who is going to listen to that? And then you put the format that way. So yeah, everything can be done. People are really used to different formats, of course. And as I always said, if nothing else, try and you will see. Don't think before you try, because I might hate it, you might love it. So I think it's always good to try new stuff, follow the trends, and if that's in the format of podcast, why not?
Agree. Yes. I enjoying our conversation as always, Damir. But now I think I just say thank you for sharing this lovely evening with us. I know you worked
You're
today,
welcome.
and yes, even those you're with us. So we appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you very much again for your time, and I hope I see you soon.
Of course, no problem. And it was pleasure, and see you soon, of course.
Have a nice evening, Damir. Thank
You
you
too.
very much.
Bye bye.